Right, we're going to start recording. We're going to go live and get the people on Facebook. 3, 2, 1. Andy Palmquist with Aqua Systems, Felicia Christensen with Born Again Water. I think we're in both places
I
now.
know. Yeah.
Awesome. You will get the Zoom video later, but this is kind of how we're doing it for now. And that way, if we get people walk in, maybe you'll get to meet people that want to come in and see us sometime. For now, we're just going to be out here educating you until you walk in the door. And then you'll get to meet other people that come in and have water questions. So I think it'll be fun as we're kind of just changing the format of this a little bit. And we're going into summer, so y'all probably going to be on vacation, right? So you're going to want good water as it gets hot. You're going to
Drink
want to
lots
be
of water. It's windy
hydrated
and dry.
and windy and dry.
A
Yes.
little humid today.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when I chatted with Andy about kind of stuff we should keep continuing to get you guys educated on, um, I always feel like one of the most popular questions I get asked and why people really start to figure out their water to begin with is the stuff that's in it. And so we do spend a lot of time on that, and that's why I have a relationship with Aqua Systems with Andy here because the Kangen machine is just an ionizer. It makes the water be more nutrient dense by taking the minerals that are good that are already in the water and making them more bioavailable for your cells. And if there are yucky things in the water, like fluorides and chlorines and other bacterial fun names, all you're doing is, I call it making it pretty, dirty water. You're still consuming the chemicals. Even though the water might be ionized, you're still kind of working through that piece. And so Andy's company helps with getting the junk out before it hits the Kangen so you can have the best experience with your Kangen machine. So that's kind of the onus behind why we work together. Uh, so what I decided to do today was I love talking about the Kangen. I love all the things there, but where people's journeys are with getting the ionizer in their home is sometimes a stair step pattern. So the ultimate goal that Andy and I have is to just help you get good information about water. And that starts with just learning about why it is the number one nutrient we need to have in our body. So when you look at the diagram, I should get that out again, of what our body looks like and what organs do with water, 72% of the processes in our body need water to function. So, like looking at the lungs, 90% needs 90% water to do its job. Blood, 82%, skin, 80%, muscle, 75%, brain, 70%. Bones are 22.
It's a
But
lot
they
for bones.
still need it,
Yeah.
right? And so that's a big piece of why it's important for us to get out here and educate you guys because I often think about our job, right? If we're just sitting back here drinking our good water and watching you guys out there going through a health issue or things like that, we're kind of, gosh, that's almost illegal, right? Withholding information that's good information to help you, right? So that's why we're doing this. I hope you're happy about it because we are. We want you to be happy because once your body's hydrated, then the arguments stop about what eating program, what practitioner to see. We get to go and experience the good out of whatever we're getting from the practitioner, whatever we love about the eating plan, whatever skincare product you're using is gonna go on point because your cells are hydrated. Your body can relate to whatever way you've decided to eat that you enjoy, and then it becomes less of an argument. So that's why this is so important for us to talk about this.
And I don't know which practitioner ever says drink less water. So
True.
water is kind of the main source for most practitioners and diet plans, and
Hmm.
they're not like do the keto diet and then drink a
Without
lot
it.
of regular Coke. It's not how it goes, but
So true.
water helps
Move it
get
all.
bad stuff out and keeps you
Right.
hydrated. And
No, I've read, and I can get you these references, but Dr. Batman Gellage is a big, uh, he's a great perspective resource on just why water is important in general and at its basis. He doesn't, he's not talking about an ionizer or talking about reverse osmosis or any of that. He's just teaching you how to use the water you have and do it the best. Do the
Hmm.
best you can with it. And I think his teachings are amazing. So if you ever want access to those, just let me know. So that's why I asked the question to Chat GTP first. What are questions that people have about drinking healthier water? And so I gave this sheet to Andy, and he's kind of got his all red penned up over there to answer these questions that came up.
It's actually a black pen.
Oh, it is. I know, black and white. So, um, anyway, the other question I had, oh, this is the healthier drinking, was about Kangen water. So what are questions people have about Kangen water? So we kind of want to pick a few of these out. And if you are following my Born Again Water page, I did put the list on that page in a post. So feel free to go pull that up and look at the questions that are on the sheet. We may not get through all of them, but we're going to do our best to answer the big ones. And ask us the question, all the questions, because we are live here. We also are recording it on a Zoom, so you'll be able to play it back later, that you can ask in the comments section. And I think I can see them. We were able to see them last time, so that'll be good. But feel free to jump in as we're talking here and ask those questions. It's about 12:20 right now. We usually try to wrap up around, I don't know, we talk for maybe 30 minutes-ish, and if you ask questions in between, we'll try to pay attention to that. But yeah, that's what we'll start with. I want to start with the questions just about water in general, because that's what's most important to me is that you get water in general and how to steward what you have. You know, not everybody can afford an expensive refrigerator or a stove in their home, but you make do with what you have. And that's what Andy and I hope to educate you with on just knowing a little extra piece about water. Okay, I'll quit going on and on and on. I think a lot of these are gonna kind of be in your department because they're what we know, right? We know we have
Right.
water coming out of a tap. How do we deal with that water? How do we make it safe? So start with the one that like really jumped out with you. Man, I think you were talking about with plastics. I can't wait to hear you share that with them. That was good.
Yeah.
So you pick one.
Well, number one, we can start with number one real quick. What is the healthiest type of water to drink? Well, my opinion is water in general. You need to drink more water. Um, Healthy, in a perfect world, you'd get it from a fresh spring. There wouldn't be like the PFAs in it. There wouldn't be nitrates in it. The stuff that we're going to get in most public water sources in Nebraska,
Mhm.
a lot. PFAs are a huge one that are coming up. We've actually started testing for those. So if anyone's curious, we also tested here in Lincoln at our office, just to see, because that's not what's on the water. They don't test for that on the water report. So I guess PFAs are a huge one, which would be basically
Oh, let's just stop for a minute. They don't test for the plastics in the water, in the
no,
public water.
no, not yet. It's not in the
Not yet.
report.
Not yet, but at Aqua
Most
Systems you can find out. That's
Yeah,
cool.
so on Lincoln. So
Yeah.
we're really hoping, when people are curious about it, that we can get like, maybe District 1 and 2 rural water, anything where, we're hoping it comes back with basically nothing. That's
Yes.
what our hope is for.
Yes.
But we also want to be a resource for people if they wanted to get it tested on their well water. Basically, um, where is it here?
Well, yeah,
Yes.
were you going to talk about what really raised my antenna up was when I asked you, how do they get in there?
Yes.
Where's that plastic come
A
from?
lot of it comes from landfills. So you find this stuff in nonstick cookware.
Whoa.
So that's one
Like,
thing a lot of people don't realize, even in their, which has nothing to do with water, but they'll have nonstick cookware and they're cooking their food in it.
okay.
It can get into your food.
Well, how does the nonstick cookware? Oh, you were just talking about that in general. It's not in
There's
the water
PFAs
supply.
in it.
Yeah, I do
And
know
then let's
that.
imagine all these people with
Yeah.
old nonstick cookware,
Mhm.
waterproofing on clothing. That's
Yes.
another one.
Yes. Mhm.
And then firefighting foam. I mean,
Mhm.
that's huge. There's tons of that out there. And a long time ago, that's what I used to do was sell fire extinguishers. And there was a lot, you'd have to take the old stuff out, put the new stuff in, and it
Right.
was disposed. Now imagine that everywhere in this country. Where does that stuff go? It usually goes to a place that they contain it, or a landfill,
Yes.
and then it seeps down. And these are basically they're what you would consider like a forever chemical, where they're really, if you get it in your body, you're going to start building it up in your body, and your body, it's really hard for your body to get it out.
Mm,
Which your body will eventually get it out. So if you can try to cut as much out as you can,
yeah.
it'll eventually get out, but it takes a long time. But in the water source, it recycles for
Hmm.
everyone. So we're getting concerns about it. It's more on public water sources because there's a lot of recycling going on.
Mm,
Whereas well water, it'd be nice to test some of that too, just to see where we're at with it, because it does leach in to the veins of water, just like
hmm.
nitrates or arsenic would, and
Hmm.
get into the water system. And
Yes.
that's where our water comes from, is the earth, around here.
Hmm.
We don't have the big Lake Erie to pull it off, but that's a different can of worms.
Right.
But
Well,
yeah,
and just thinking on a different level, if the plastics are in the water and then you fill that up and you put that in a pot to boil water, it's not going
it's
anywhere.
not
Because
going
in
anywhere.
the good old days, everybody's like, "Oh, I'm just going to boil my water and I'll be good." These things they don't go anywhere. They just get heated up and even more intense,
Either are the
honestly, right?
germs and the bacteria isn't
Yes.
going anywhere, but it's what you're doing is that's one of these questions is,
You're kind of
should I
heating it
boil
up.
my water?
Hmm.
Well, if you're in an unsafe water condition with bacteria and germs, you're going to need to boil your water, but you're still drinking the bacteria and germs. They're just
Yeah.
dead,
Dead.
or
Hmm.
even like UV.
Oh
Sometimes
my
people
gosh.
might think, well, UV kill or takes out bacteria. No, it doesn't take it out,
Yes.
it kills it, but
Okay.
you're still drinking it. So a
The
lot of
kind of
people
the
that
dead
are
material.
are minded
Yeah.
in that, they're in the filtering world, they're gonna like,
Hmm.
well, let's kill it
Yeah.
and then filter it out because we don't want to drink it anyway. It's not going to do anything to the body, but to me, I don't want to drink dead bacteria, even if it's not doing anything with the body.
No,
But
no thanks.
but you're exactly right with the
What a waste.
PFAs. It's not killing it by boiling it.
Right. Well, and to that to that end with the nonstick cookware, I've been paying attention a lot when I'm in the store because they do make some really good ceramic cookware now. But if they are using the old, because it does say that no PFAs, there's another P in there that they say no to or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just we're trying to do our best. And also knowing, I mean, obviously my company name is Born Again Water for a reason. So also praying for our water supplies. I know when I get up, I pray and I thank the Lord that He's given me a good water, unit to do what it needs to do for our family. But, then when I go to turn to use the faucet that is softened water, that or my filtered, I'm still dealing with things that we need prayer to stay out of fear too of some of that stuff because we don't have a lot of control over what's going in the ground and what people want to throw away. But you do have ways to create a better path and a more healthier path in your home by having filtration, water ionizer systems, and so on and so forth. So I want to jump in on this question about what's the healthiest type of water to drink. Obviously, I love the Kangen water because you're getting clean, pure nutrients. The minerals we're supposed to be getting from the earth are being made more bioavailable for your body. They get to a really small micron size so they can get into your cells and actually rehydrate you better. And so that's a big reason for drinking water that biologically changes, not alkaline water that's in a bottle. So I just wanted to jump to that because all people say, okay, Felicia, I don't have a Kangen. I don't know when I'm going to get one. So if I'm at Disneyland or I'm somewhere where I have to get a bottled water, what is going to be the best option for me? And so Andy kind of touched on that. You want to try and find a spring water option. You want to try and find water that has the natural minerals in it. So some of those brands might be your Fiji's. Eternal's a good one. I was trying to think if there's a third one. I mean, and even if it's the Walmart discount spring water, whatever, you're doing a better job by trying to get minerals in your body with the water you're consuming. Now, let's just back up and talk about bottled water in general. It is not regulated. So that means the bottled water you buy in the store might have been sitting in a hot warehouse for 3 years before it goes to market. So then again, we go back to the plastics that Andy was talking about. So I would just say you pray over your situation and do the best you can to get the water you need. And even if it's only one water, I think we were at Disneyland. no, it was like Branson or something, and they only had, I think it was Dasani. So that's the only bottled water you could drink while you were there. And Dasani is made by Coca-Cola, and Aquafina is made by Pepsi. Both trying to do a good job by having a water resource. I believe Aquafina is just reverse osmosis, and Dasani does add some stuff or stabilizers. So that's another thing to pay attention to when you're getting, some people buy those alkaline waters. So I will tell you the Kangen actually biologically changes the water molecule, where if you're buying it on a shelf and they say it's been ran through an ionizer, it is probably not going to be at the pH it was, because truly biologically changed water can only maintain that for 2 to 3 days. So if that's been sitting in the bottle, it's a good chance that water is only 7.0 right now. So manufacturers will add chemicals to the bottled waters like not Aquafina. Essentia is one. There's one called Core. They're trying to do the best they can to get you that tool, but they do have to put stabilizers in there, which in turn turns into another chemical. So again, not super hurtful, but drinking that consistently over time is probably not going to benefit your body. I know this because a person that purchased a Kangen from me in New York a couple years ago, her husband was suffering from gout for a number of years and drinking the Essentia water and not seeing much change, but within 3 months on the Kangen water, gout was gone. So it is a big difference when you get the right water in your body, get those minerals going, all the things.
Because you could do anything to pH balance. I mean, our old
100%.
trick was we in front of people put baking soda in,
Yes.
you know, and
Yep.
make it. I mean, so I did a little investigating on bottled water because again, I'm an advocate of drink more water, but I think, a liter of bottled water, they found 240,000 nanoplastics in it. Yeah, in a liter.
240,000 in a liter.
So
Oh
that's why
my.
drinking water is good, but I don't think my opinion is does not mean drink only bottled water all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's best to make it at your house,
Mm-hmm.
where you're not. That's not a concern.
Yep.
But I mean, your body needs water to hydrate. But there's downsides to everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and like you said, you're at
Yeah.
Disney. Hopefully, they're rotating those waters good enough, and hopefully, you can trust that they're
Yeah.
doing it the right way instead of just leaving them in warehouses and
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's one thing I did find with the question, does bottled water have fewer contaminants than tap water? And I would say for the most part, yes, when we're talking about
Yeah.
nitrates and the stuff that they've filtered out.
Yeah.
But then imagine if you filter out your own water in your house and you test it for plastics from your tap, zero, and then you test it from where you've saved it in a plastic bottle, you know,
Well,
that's where you're gonna have the
that's not it.
plastics is in your saved good water. So it's
Yes.
not. I mean, that's my opinion. I drink a lot of bottled water when I'm out. If I'm at a gas station, I choose it
You
over
have
soda.
to. Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that everything is perfect.
Yes. It's not perfect, but it's again, that's where I bring prayer in. Lord, bless this bottle of water. I know it may not be the best option, but it's the option I have right now, and I know you'll help me through this. I do it all the time. Um, Another thing I will put a feather in Kangen's cap is TSA. So if you are a traveler, we do have people that will carry on their actual Kangen unit because you can hook it up in the hotel. It's very portable. Some people have summer homes somewhere else, camping in the camper. Of course, Andy's filters may not be there, but at least you're one step in a better direction than the water you might be getting in the hotel room if you can't get to bottled water, whatever. But if you do take your Kangen water with you in a bottle, you will be the only one that can carry it on the plane. Everybody else will have to jump their water because the devices are medically certified. You can go to the check-in area and the lady will test it for pH and you'll be able to walk on with your Kangen water. So that's pretty cool too. Neat certification there in your back pocket with that water. What else did you think was good that
Uh,
you marked?
let's see here. All right, so we got.
What about,
Should I use a water filter at home?
oh, yeah, there we go.
I mean, I think everyone should filter something. I mean, the city water,
Mhm.
especially, or they publicize this report for everyone, even if you're on like a rural water, and you're spending good money for them to keep this under control.
Yeah.
And then people would go above and beyond to take out the byproducts from doing this, but also, you know, they're going to keep everything regulated for you to drink here.
Mhm.
Does not mean that the stuff in that's left in the water you're going to still want to drink. So
Yeah.
I'm an advocate. That's what I do. That's what I sell is water filters. So hopefully everyone buys that. But in my opinion, at home,
Yeah.
I filter our water, even though
Mhm.
it's Lincoln City Water, and they do a great job, and my money's not going to waste with them every other month.
Yeah.
Uh, I just go above and beyond for my family with different things, and that's my opinion on it. But again, there's people that don't have filtering systems, and all they're drinking is sodas. I would much rather have them drink the tap water.
You're better off rolling the dice there,
Yeah. And so
yes.
I'm an advocate of water in
Yes.
general. It's not, yes, there's things that in my world that we can take out and make it better. But that's, I think, our main focus, Felicia and I, is to get people a little more in the know of water and enjoy it more, because I
Hmm.
think water is a good hydrator, and people think of it as like a diet. Oh, I'm gonna go and get this bottle of water because it doesn't have any calories.
Yeah.
uh, but the reality is people need to drink more water. I think we got so much stuff and additives. We got, my son came home with what was that called? I probably shouldn't say brands on this, but it was uh, it rhymes with brime.
I
You
don't
know,
even know if I can get
and
figure
even
I
him, he's like, that stuff is I'm not going to drink it again. I've heard there's so much stuff wrong with it, which I haven't
yeah.
I haven't investigated it.
Right.
But no one questions water
I know.
unless they're thinking of like plastics and in
Right.
bottles and stuff.
Right.
Water's good for you, so we really need to
Hmm.
start drinking
Right. And let me also say, the brands that I shared about water, it's it's important to share because just like Andy said, you're still in a better place if you're drinking the water in the bottle, even if it has the additives. Um, you're you're going to have to deal with those in some way, shape, or form. And obviously, it's better to have them if you have consistently good water in your home, just like eating a different food that's not good for you every now and again, it's not going to hurt you. Once you get your organs clean and in working order, God designed them to pull out the toxins. So if you have something here and there that's not so great, it's just going to go right where it needs to go out of your system. So that's what our organs were designed to do, to kind of be our internal filter. But when they're broken down due to disease, cancer, diabetes, those kinds of things, they maybe just don't work as well. And so having a good water as your solvent to get your cells hydrated and breathing again, the body goes back to its natural processes of knowing how to heal again. So then your visits to practitioners are wellness visits, and the products that you decide to use and the food plan you decide to eat just works wonderfully with what your desires are. So I love that question. I also get asked the question, how many glasses of water should I be drinking a day? So this this really can vary by the person because again, I am eating a lot of foods that do bear a lot of water in them. If you are one that does not do that, getting your water content up is very important. The general rule of thumb is at a minimum to drink half your body weight in water daily. And that's at a minimum. If you're a very active athlete, pro athletes will drink a gallon and a half of Kangen water a day because they're active, they're moving, their body's burning calories, they're sweating, it needs those cells hydrated. So um, I would say the average person probably drinks between 60 to 75 ounces, almost 80 a day, that is in good hydrated health. That's a pretty good number for the average size person. So, and again, I will meet people that are immune compromised, and I always tell them to go slow, especially if they haven't drank a lot of water. That can be a shock to your system initially because the body's like, oh my gosh, I can breathe again. And it kind of whacks out for a little bit. Sometimes I will see people get a little slight cold after they have the Kangen water because it's just opening up those cells that have kind of been dormant for a little bit, and it's just kind of making the stuff go where it needs to go. Some people have said they don't like the taste in the initial beginnings because the Kangen water is a salt. Salt water is built to be a solvent, like to remove bacteria in your body, flush it out. So that just means you maybe have some bacteria mucosa in your mouth that is the Kangen's working on. So I always encourage people, I'm like, keep with it. And a week later, typically most of that doesn't taste good. We'll move on. So it's kind of cool.
I know they say a minimum to drink is 6 to 8 cups a day
Yep, that's a
to
good one.
live.
Cups.
But do you know
Yeah.
Brian Bayer from Ascend?
Uh-uh.
So he mentioned you take your weight in ounces,
Hmm.
divide it in half, and that's how many ounces that you should have.
Yeah,
So, you know, you know what? I don't care if you guys know how heavy I am. So I would have to drink 120 ounces a day, which is really hard. But
that's a
I
gallon.
I took him up on that years ago, and I did feel a lot better
Yeah.
getting, and I was not consistently drinking half my body weight,
Hmm.
but I did see a huge difference when I was drinking at least 80 ounces on average. My wife got me a Stanley cup, and
Oh yeah,
was drinking like I think that's about 40 ounces or so,
that's a big cup.
and I drink about two, maybe three of those per day, and it really, a lot of well, not only did I pee more when I first started, but I
Yes.
I did notice a significant like lucidness when I was walking around. Like I was more aware.
More aware and
I
present.
felt better, not so dry and like achy.
Yeah.
And so I am an advocate on at least 6 to 8 to live, but we
Hmm.
want to do above and beyond and live more. So
Yeah.
I think you're right on the
Yeah.
80 ounces or so.
And I definitely notice when I get done with a workout, I want your body will signal. It's like I need water, and even when you're outside on a hot day, it's you feel better when you get water in versus a bunch of pop or whatever the other drinks are out there. Um, but all that to be said, like I just said, if you're consistently doing the right things, if you have that thing every now and again, that energy drink, the ice cream cone, the something that might have a chemical in it, your body knows how to respond to that and move it out. It was built to do that when it's healthy and working properly. So that's just what Andy and I want to help people get to that
Yeah,
place.
I'm an open book too, and by no
Hmm.
means are we saying you can't. I had a Red Bull yesterday. Is that good for me?
Did
No, but
drink
it's
stuff.
everyone's going to drink what they like to drink every once in a while. It's not
Yeah.
what we're saying, but
Hmm.
what we've done in our lives is added water to the
Hmm.
mix, and a lot more water than the normal person,
Yeah.
and it has made such a significant difference in our lives,
Hmm.
and we just wanted to we want to share that with everyone.
Yes. So I'm curious, what color is Esmeralda's Stanley?
She collects them.
Okay.
We have our pantry has maybe 10 to 15 of them in there.
Oh
But
my
she
word.
she she really
There's
likes the
a,
Starbucks ones
there's a Starbucks stand.
all the time.
Okay.
They'll like it's and they get bought out. So
Okay.
I'll sneak over there, kind of like with my son with the Pokemon, and I will get the Starbucks ones. And they're
I love
she
it.
collects a lot of different ones. I think she has a Barbie one,
I was gonna ask if there was a Barbie one.
but she really likes the Stanley Cups. But she likes the smaller ones just
Okay.
because
Yeah.
the one that I have, because I don't collect them, is gray,
It's
and the
great.
water tastes wonderful out of it because it's just water. But
It's just
yeah, I
I,
like the Stanley Cup, but I do look silly with it sometimes
it's
driving
pretty
around.
good
It's hard to
size.
put in my cup holder, but
Well, that's good. Okay, so we're approaching about 12:45, and we haven't seen anybody bebop in. So I guess to wrap up, was there any other, I just wanted to see if there's any other one we could touch on. Oh, uh, lastly, I think I did bring this guy up last time we did this, but here's what's crazy to me is you can go out there and find charts and graphs and things about all the things that are bad. And for every good, you're going to find a bad video. It's just life. Doesn't matter. There's a box out there and somebody's going to have something to say about using this box over that box. And so when I kind of consulted Holy Spirit about this little graphic, I could have 100 charts out there that show all the things that are linked to disease out there. And um, I heard him say, just pull up one chemical. And one chemical, if you look at the body on the bottom, brings up all of these things that can disrupt the system. And so I just want to say a little prayer for that. Just in your heart, start asking those questions about water. Even if it's to Chat GPT, it's Google AI, start asking the questions because it's a top nutrient. How one nutrient can make this much impact on your body and one chemical can make this much impact on your body. Where do you want to be? When Andy said he felt lucid, he felt great, he felt energy. That's how we feel when we're getting like put premium gas in your Corvette or your sports car if you want it to run and not have to see the mechanic a lot. It's the same thing we should be thinking about with water. We want the premium water in our body and to do the best we can with water in whatever way, shape, or form. That's our prayer for you guys. And we like doing what we're doing. Like I said, if I was sitting at home just hoarding this, I feel awful, like running into people that need help, and I'm just sitting back here chugging my good water, not talking to you about it. So that's why we're here.
And there's so much other stuff we could be doing
Yeah,
right now,
so
but
many.
we're here,
We're here for you guys. So anyway, that being said, I think you should round this up. Was there anything else, Mr. Palmquist?
Well, I mean, what are the risks of drinking or distilled or
Oh,
demineralized water,
good one.
And
Yeah.
I'm always an advocate of drinking water in general, but I did do some homework on this too. And if that's all you're drinking, they're talking about an electrolyte imbalance.
Mhm.
Um, so like Felicia said, you're out and about, you're drinking water, drink water and spring water,
Yes.
reverse osmosis, distilled, that's fine. But if that's all you did was drink that bottled water, that's where the problems happen.
Mhm.
So that's kind of why we've teamed up, is because we can get the best of both worlds. Because we're not going to sell an ionizer. You're going to sell an ionizer. We'll filter the water to the end of time, but
Mhm.
um, you're getting in the what I would call the perfect mix for water without having to go get it in a plastic bottle, and who knows how they did it.
Right, 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 right. I know there was a few here recently where it can be a little risky because there are bottling companies that make alkaline water, but they use the chemicals to make it maintain its alkalinity. And there was one here recently that got closed down because they had a worker in the back that put the wrong solution mixture into the water, and a lot of people got sick. So that's why I love when Andy says, we stay in this pool, you stay in your pool. We're not using chemicals, it's like what you're getting and why we kind of stay out of that part where you have that middleman in the middle that what's the word? You kind of lose a little bit of control. What if somebody comes to work and puts the wrong amount? And we've all gotten food poisoning before, let's just be real. But at the same time, looking at water the same way. I'll often ask people that. They'll say, why drink alkaline water? Well, it's kind of the same thing with food. Like, why have people kept a burger from a fast food restaurant? I won't name names. And every year they show you how it does not decompose. That's a big thing. Same thing with water. You want it to, like, if the Kangen water, if I get it out of the machine at 9.5 and it sits for 3 to 4 days, the water will just go to 7.0 pH, which is neutral water. So that's what comes out of a tap. There's no electricity or vibrancy or anything in it. So that's this, you can relate that to food. So if you get a ripe orange and you eat it at its peak ripeness, you're getting it at its peak pH. So, like a blueberry is 9.5 pH. And when you eat your healthy smoothies that have blueberries in them, you feel good. It's the same thing with drinking water at a higher pH. And in a sense, if you leave that blueberry on the counter, it will rot because it's real food. So, the same thing with water. If you leave it and let it sit, it's real water. It loses its biological structure when it sits or it's been cooked. Same thing with food. If you cook food, we all know you don't get the same amount of nutrients out of fresh asparagus as you would if it's cooked, but you're still getting something. So that's the same thing we're trying to relate to with the bottled water. There's still something there. It's just if you eat the good thing, mostly, you can still
Yeah.
get
Because
something
I had a
from something.
burger the other day.
Yeah. And you're
Or
still here.
the worst thing, but do I eat burgers every day?
No.
No, I wish. But no, I don't.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's just drink more good water,
Yes.
but water in general.
Yep.
And it's easy to do that on your own. I mean, it's
Mhm.
the grand scheme of things, we are the vehicle on this earth.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about sports cars and every once in a while I'll put premium gas
Hmm.
in my work car.
Yeah.
Um this is your body.
Hmm.
Drink the best thing that you can most of the time.
Yeah. Amen. Well said. All right. Well, here's another chapter of Water 101 on the books. Thank you very much for being with us. Yes. Oh.
If you ever want the report, swing into our office or grab them from Felicia. She'll have some.
Hmm.
She can also email those to you.
Hmm.
Very accessible. You can Google it.
Hmm.
But if you live in a public water source where you don't, it's really hard for you to access it. Let Felicia or I know, and we can get it to you. Make it easier, and then you'll know what's in the water and how what you're paying for every
Yep.
month.
Each city municipality is required by law to have a public water report available for you in some way, shape, or form, whether it's electronic or you have to call them up and have them email it to you. Just depends
Mhm.
on where you're at. So we will help you get that information. We want you to be healthy and happy and have the right water.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a great, blessed day and drink water and be happy, my friends. See you later. Okay. Stop the recording.